Okay, so now we're going to discuss the actual kind of the inner game, the techniques, the strategy of how to actually properly sign someone up. And to start to understand that literally people want things that they can't have. And here's one of my beliefs. I see a lot of companies that make things very available to people. They make them very open and they say, here are all of the resources that we have. And they don't ask the prospect, they don't ask the new rep, the new consultant, the new distributor, they don't ask them to give anything in return for receiving all of the help that you can give. Now I know that network marketing kind of forces you, if you will, or it motivates you, it incentivizes you to help people to become successful. And by the way, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about really helping them and really getting them in a place of understanding that if you're going to help them, that you need them to do certain things. It's just a fact of life. If they don't do certain things, then you won't be able to do certain things with them. We many times offer it up and we make it too easy. So I'm going to ask you in your inner game to start understanding that people want things that they can't have. It's sad but true. People want things that they can't have, and they will actually struggle and work harder to receive things that they can't get, or understanding that they need to do certain steps in order to receive certain benefits from you, like your coaching, like your leadership, like your involvement in helping them to build a business. Again, make no mistake, this is all about you getting in there and literally you doing it for them. Now, I've heard people say to me, well, I don't want to make my people dependent on me. I want to turn them into self-sufficient people. And while I agree in theory with that, I want you to understand that in that first 30 to 60 days, you're going to have to do a lot of the work for them. I think you need to understand that it is very, very important for you to understand, by the way, that you can only work with probably 2 or 3 people in using this method that I'm about to teach you. But by the way, if we look at the board and we look at actually looking at the number of people that you can work with, if we're actually working with, say, 3 people in the course of a month, and if we actually build these people into leaders, what would a leader be? Say a leader in your business perhaps was doing, say, $3,000 to $5,000 a month in income. If you could do this on a monthly basis and you could get 3 of these people to $5,000 a month in volume, then we know that would require that they have some people that you've recruited for them, that you've sponsored for them, and they're going to be pretty solid if they're doing that kind of volume, because I'm going to assume that they're probably making at $5,000 a month, on average, they're making an extra $500 a month in some kind of a commission or some kind of a residual bonus. Now, keep in mind, you can't do this per month with 25 people. You can only do it with 2 to 3 people, and actually therein lies the secret to this process. Also keep in mind that if you did this for 3 months, every 3 months, or let's say every month, you were to build 3 leaders like this, that at the end of the year, you would have 36 leaders at the $5,000 a month level. I'm using rough figures here, and I'm extrapolating out the math, but the fact is that, and maybe that would take, and let's say that takes half the amount of time to do it. Let's say you only end up with 18 leaders that are doing $5,000 a month. Cut it in half again. Let's say that you've got 9 leaders that are doing $5,000 a month. Okay? If you can develop 3 leaders per month, get them started, get them recruiting their first 2 to 5 people, and getting some people up and running using this method. At the very least, I have had people use this method and come up with at least 12 to 15 new leaders in the course of a year that are doing those $3,000 to $6,000 a month levels, because they've literally help them to build the business themselves. They actually did it for them. So let's talk about when you get a new person, and let's say this new person is Bob, and we have Bob as our new person, and we have just signed Bob up in our business. He is now a new rep, consultant, distributor, fleet commander, whatever you call them, it's fine with me. Bob is excited. Bob is brand new. What you're going to need to do with Bob is you're going to have to sign Bob up or let's start again. What you're going to need to do with Bob is get Bob started properly. This is so important to understand that if you have a very good upfront agreement with Bob, if Bob understands what he needs to do in order to be successful, and you've got some commitment from Bob, there's some, there's some give and take, if you will, there's some commitment from him, then you're going to have a much greater chance of making Bob successful. Remember that your job is to get into Bob's warm market as quickly as possible and get him some customers or get him some distributors, reps, consultants, whatever you call it, get them signed up for him, and then to start to work with those people. And again, remember that you have the ability to do this. You have the ability to handle objections. You have the ability to get the appointment. You have the ability to get a person to watch a video or whatever the next step is in your system. All the time I talk to leaders in their businesses and they tell me, oh, if my people would put me in front of those people, I could help them recruit and sponsor more people, but my people don't get me in front of enough people. So again, let me remind you that there's a lot of grunt work here involved in helping a new person get started. But the dividends are so great if you set it up properly, because your retention is going to go up about 70 to 80% instead of losing people left and right. You're going to retain distributors, consultants, and reps at a much higher level because they'll have somebody involved in the business, and they'll have some
Sorry, I didn't even mean to do that.
I know. And they'll have some belief that the business is going to work for them. Again, remember, people don't do this business and don't succeed in it and don't continue on and drop out because they don't believe they can make it. And if you're going to make these calls and get Bob set up correctly, and you're going to get a couple of people sponsored for him right away, he will have hope, he will have belief, and that will keep him in. Then, of course, we have to help Bob make some money. Money helps to keep people in as well. So let's talk about the sign-up process and getting him properly started. The proper start is absolutely critical. So you can do this on the phone, or you can do it in person, whichever way works for you. And what the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to find out what Bob's why is. You're going to find out if he has a dream, a goal. You're going to find out if whether that goal is or dream is short-term or long-term. Your companies are very good at teaching you how to get the why from a person. And it's very, very important, because I know you focus on what your why is, which is excellent, and I want you to ask Bob. So Bob, as you're coming into this business, what is it that, imagine that you could make an extra $500,000, $2,000, even $10,000 a month. Tell me, what do you want? What is something that would be exciting for you? How would your life change? Let's pick a number. How would your life change if you could make an extra $2,000 a month? What would that do for you? How would that impact your life? Tell me something that you'd like to do with that money. Now, if Bob tells you, let's say for example, Bob says, well, if I had an extra $2,000 a month, then I'd put my children in a private school. There's a private school my wife and I have always wanted to send our kids to. It costs a lot of money. We can't afford it. We would love to send them there, and we absolutely would love to do that. And if we were making an extra $2,000 a month, then we would put them in that school, and we would be so happy, and that's what we want. So you say, excellent. Now, let me tell you how you can get that. So what you do is you explain to them that you have some type of a level in your business. We'll just call it a regional vice president for now. Let's say that Bob has to become a regional vice president or an executive coordinator or a regional director or a Starfleet Ruby commander with 5 Emerald clusters on the side, whatever it is in your company. I love all the ranks and promotions. But let's pick a rank. Let's say he becomes a regional vice president. And Bob, if you become a regional vice president, you will make this extra $2,000 a month, and you'll be able to send your kids to the school. Would that be important to you? Does that excite you? Is that something that you want to do? So Bob says, yes, that's what I want to do. You say, great. Now, in order to get that, let me explain to you what's going to happen. I can only work with about 3 people per month. And I'm actually going to work with you as one of the people that I'm going to work with to help get to that level. So when you become a regional vice president, you'll be making that $2,000 a month. Now understand, I can only help 3 people a month, and I'm already working with 2 other people. So in order for me to give you my time and attention, I'm going to work with you. And literally, Bob, make no mistake about it, is I am literally going to build a business for you that is going to make you that $2,000 a month. Is that exciting to you? Does that turn you on in some way? Or does that really make you excited about doing this? Yes, it does. Or you're going to help me? Wow, that's awesome. Yes, great. I'd love to get that money. Sounds excellent. Get Bob's commitment that this is something that Bob wants to do. I want you to make Bob also understand that he is one of a few people that you have chosen. And I want you to be very clear to say to Bob, listen, in order to make you successful, I have to put a lot of work and a lot of energy into you for about 60 to 90 to 120 days. And I'm willing to do that for you. And you're excited about that? Yes. Now, in order for me to put that much time and that much attention into your business, Bob, I'm going to need you to do a couple of things. I'm going to need some commitments from you, and I want to make sure that you're okay with committing to these things before I actually get in there and do the work. Can we talk about the commitments that you'll need to make? Absolutely, MJ. What are the commitments? Okay, commitment number 1. Commitment number 1 is that you promise, you will take a blood oath with me that you will not speak to anybody about the business on your own. Remember, this is the first night that you're signing them up.